Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Kandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Okay, no Govindadev. Akila Prabhu, can you hear me? I think it's called karma because I didn't tell you the verse, correct verse last time. So now I'm sitting here without knowing which verse. Everyone speaks English, German. Sprecht ihr auch Englisch? Müssen auf Englisch sprechen, damit die übersetzen können auch. You can translate also? Okay. Good. So we will speak in English then. We read from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 25, the glories of devotional service, text 20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vas. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Prasangam acharam bhasham. Prasangam acharam bhasham. Atmana kavayo viduhu. Atmana kavayo viduhu. Sa eva sadushu krito. Sa eva sadushu krito. Mokshat varam apavritam. Mokshat varam apavritam. Prasangam acharam bhasham. Atmana kavayo viduhu. Sa eva sadushu krito. Mokshat varam apavritam. Prasangam acharam bhasham. Atmana kavayo viduhu. Sa eva sadushu krito. Mokshat varam apavritam. Please chant. Ladies. Hare Krishna. Atmana kavayo viduhu sa eva sadu shukrito mokshatvaram abhavritam. Rasangam, attachment. Acharam, strong. Pasham, entanglement. So hat man doppeltes Echoing. Atmanaha, of the soul. Kavayaha, learned man. Viduhu, no. Sa eva, that same. Sadhushu, to the devotees. Kritaha, applied. Mokshatvaram, the door of liberation. Abhavritam, opened. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Chai. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. Purport. Here it is clearly stated that attachment for one thing is the cause of bondage in conditioned life, and the same attachment, when applied to something else, opens the door of liberation. Attachment cannot be killed. It has simply to be transferred. Attachment for material things is called material consciousness, and attachment for Krishna or his devotee is called Krishna consciousness. Consciousness, therefore, is the platform of attachment. It is clearly stated here that when we simply purify the consciousness from material consciousness to Krishna consciousness, we attain liberation. Despite the statement that one should give up attachment, desirelessness is not possible for a living entity. A living entity, by constitution, has the propensity to be attached to something. We see that if someone has no object of attachment, if he has no children, then he transfers his attachment to cats and dogs. This indicates that the propensity for attachment cannot be stopped. It must be utilized for the best purpose. Our attachment for material things perpetuates our conditional state. But the same attachment, when transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, is the source of liberation. It's a bit long purport, stay with me. Here it is recommended that attachment should be transferred to the self-realized devotees, the sadhus. And who is a sadhu? A sadhu is not just an ordinary man with a saffron robe or long beard. A sadhu is described in Bhagavad Gita as one who unflinchingly engages in devotional service. Even though one is found not to be following the strict rules and regulations of devotional service, if one simply has unflinching faith in Krishna, the Supreme Person, he is understood to be a sadhu. Sadur eva samantavyaha. A sadhu is a strict follower of devotional service. It is recommended here that if one at all wants to realize Brahman or spiritual perfection, his attachment should be transferred to the sadhu or devotee. Lord Chaitanya also confirmed this. Lava matra sadhu sangha savasidi hai. Simply by moments association with a sadhu, one can attain perfection. Mahatma is a synonym of sadhu. It is said that service to a Mahatma or elevated devotee of the Lord is Tvaram Ahur Vimukte, the royal road of liberation. Mahat Sevam Tvaram Ahur Vimuktestamo, Tvaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2. Rendering service to the materialists has the opposite effect. If anyone offers service to a gross materialist or a person engaged only in sense enjoyment, then by association with such a person, the door to hell is opened. The same principle is confirmed here. Attachment to a devotee is attachment to the service of the Lord. Because if one associates with a sadhu, the result will be that a sadhu will teach him how to become a devotee or worshipper and a sincere servitor of the Lord. These are the gifts of a sadhu. If we want to associate with a sadhu, we cannot expect him to give us instructions on how to improve our material condition, but he will give us instructions on how to cut the knot of contamination of material attraction and how to elevate ourselves in devotional service. That is the result of associating with a sadhu. Kapila Muni first of all instructs that the path of liberation begins with such association. Omakyana timirandasya kinanshana shalakaya chakshu unmilitam yena tasmai shigurave namaha Shri Chaitanya manobhistam stapitam yena bhutale Svayam rupa kadamayam dadati svabhadantikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpade Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Prishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Darubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prasangam Acharam Bhasham Atmana Kavayo Viduhu Saeva Sadhushu Krito Mokshat Varam Apavritam. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. Hare Krishna. So many nice points raised here. Attachment to the material world or attachment to Krishna. Sankhya philosophy, what is this main topic of the teachings of Lord Kapila Dev, Sankhya Yoga, teaches us how to detach from the material world. Detachment from material world will be described in understanding the material energy, an analytical study of the material universe, to understand at the end who we are. If we know all the different ingredients of a sabji, for example, when we cook, then we can make something nice to eat, something enjoyable. In the same way, we need to know the ingredients of the material world in order to understand what is the material world and what is the spiritual nature. And detachment from this world is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Sankhya philosophy is the same as Bhakti Yoga. It's not different to attachment to Krishna, because real detachment of the material world can only be if you attach yourself to Krishna. Otherwise, you're still entangled in this material world. There's different stages of realizations and detachments and paths. For example, we have Pavriti Marg, Nivritti Marg, the path of Privritti Marg, the path of being still involved in material activities or sense enjoyment, but the goal is also already liberation. And we have Nivritti Marg, the path of detachment, the path of living renounced, like we have the sadhus or the yogis or the brahmanas, who are very detached from the material world, who set the example how to live this nivritti marg. For example, grihastas or kshatriyas mostly. There are also, of course, grihasta brahmanas who are very austere. But the path of the kshatriyas is more to be active in the material world, to not be detached, because a kshatriya needs to establish Dharma. He needs to rule the kingdom, and he needs to lead by example. So he can't detach himself like a brahmana can do, because he needs to be there for the people. He needs to guide society. So, but still, his path brings him also to liberation if he follows a path described in the Vedic scriptures, a path what liberates his followers, his people he takes care of. Doesn't necessarily need to be a king. Maybe it's a temple resident or a high-class politician. But he needs to make sure that other people can follow the path of bhakti. And of course, bhakti is not the only way to go back home, back to Godhead. There's different ways. But now, in this age, in Kali Yuga, and especially if you want to go back to Krishna in the spiritual world called Goloka Vrindavan, then the way is devotional service. There's no other way. And what is the way in this yuga to perform devotional service? Shown by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada is the chanting, congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And this point is always emphasized almost in each purport. Prabhupada speaks about the importance of associating with devotees, associating with sadhus, associating with the holy names. He speaks many times about other processes and yoga and breathing, and it's a common thing in our scriptures. It always comes again and again. Like I myself, as you know, I'm more and more engaged in doing pranayama and yoga and combine this with the path of bhakti. But Prabhupada always says that the only way to go back to Krishna is bhakti, is devotion. And devotion is nothing cheap. Mukti, liberation, Krishna gives us very easily. But bhakti, it's like, I don't know the English word, Achilles ferse. How you say this part of the leg? You know the story of Achilles. He was indestructible. He was blessed by the gods or something, and nobody could kill him. But then an arrow came and hit him in this leg, in this Achilles ferse. And I always think about devotional service is Krishna's Achilles ferse. How you say ferse? Somebody knows? Heel. Achilles, the heel of Achilles. You know this? Yeah. So bhakti is Krishna's Achilles heel. Because bhakti, Krishna sells himself to us if we perform devotional service. Sometimes we don't even know, we don't even see, or we don't even feel. But everything we do here, every little bit, every mantra we chant, every pot we clean, every prasadam we serve, every step we dance, whatever we do in the temple, especially in a holy place, it's unlimited benefit. And of course, it's not pure yet. We are not of the platform of pure devotional service yet, but we follow a pure devotee. We follow actually pure devotional service. But it's only on our consciousness. Right now, most of us probably, we perform Kama Mishra Bhakti. We still, maybe renounce the fruits of our work and offer it to Krishna. But this is not Bhakti. Bhakti is that we really do it for Krishna, only for His satisfaction. Like when we chant in the morning, do we chant because we gave a promise that we chant 16 rounds? Do we chant because it's a social pressure, because so many devotees are here and everyone expects you to chant? Or do we chant because our mind is fixed, or that we are becoming happy, or we are more getting more energy, or we are everything is more blissful? I mean, there's unlimited reasons why to chant Hare Krishna. But the real reason should be, I only want to chant to please Krishna. This is bhakti. Everything else is for us. But we should really get to this point. No, Krishna, this is for you. We want to set the intention. That's all about in Bhakti Yoga, to again and again to set the intention. I want to cook for you, Krishna. Yesterday I went to Lord Nishingadev, and then I offered him, before I cook, I offered him what I want to cook. And I meditated about I don't do this always, but sometimes. And I prepared a nice feast and I offered it to him and I asked him for his blessings that I can cook nicely. And then I went in the kitchen and the ingredients I needed were not there. So I had to cook something else. Yeah, but I thought maybe Nishingadev wanted to eat something else. It's also okay. But I think it's nice, before you start some service, before you clean the pots, I mean, if you go on book distribution, for example, you pray like an idiot. Like, please Krishna, help me, please let me distribute books, let me serve you, please Guru Maharaj, let me be your servant. And you can really pray your heart out. But if you have to wash pots, you just go in the kitchen, you take the sponge, you take some liquid, mix it, wash the pots, put it back in the shelf, and probably that's it. I don't know, is it just me, but usually that's the way we clean pots. But maybe some of you even clean the pots differently. They go in the kitchen and they know, from this pot Krishna will eat. And they're completely ecstatic and they're rolling on the ground in ecstasy, the hair standing on end, because they know this pot will be clean for Krishna, that he can have a nice meal today. And then also they ask Krishna, please Krishna, empower me to clean this pot nicely, to find each dirt, each spot, and to clean it so nicely that it shines. It said actually we should clean the pots not only in the inside, we should clean the pots also in the outside, that they shine, and yeah, it should be very nice. And that we can apply everywhere. To go to the toilet and clean the toilet. Please, Krishna, let me clean this toilet for your devotees. That they find when they come, they go inside and it's shining like anything. I have to commit, a few days ago, I went in the wrong bathroom. Now it's a Mataji bathroom here. And I didn't know yesterday in the morning. And I went inside and it was so clean. And I thought something is wrong here. It's not. And then I had the feeling maybe it's for Mataji or something. Then I went out and I saw the, Mataji bathroom shield. Because they cleaned it nicely. It was really nice. And before it was in such a state. But yeah, it's nice to do everything nicely. When I first cleaned also the bathroom, the temple commander came and in each corner he finds something. And they sing, and this is not okay, and this is not okay. And he said, Prabhupada said the temple should be like Vaikuntha, even the bathroom. So yeah, so much room for improvement. Vaisheshika Prabhu says, always do better service. We should every day tax our brains. We should every day find a way to improve our service. I mean, we're already doing great. We're already distributing unlimited of books and cook and clean and all kinds of stuff. Make the best gardens. But there's always room for improvement. Or to teach others, maybe to show others how to do it. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was cleaning the Gundicha temple, Gundicha Marjanam, I spoke about it recently, before Kupurnima, and the devotees, they cleaned the temple to clean their hearts. And Mahaprabhu, he showed them how to clean the temple. He took 100 brooms, he distributed them to the devotees. He cleaned each corner on the ceiling, the Simhasana, which each part completely perfect. And after everything was clean, he cleaned again. He started cleaning again the whole temple. And at one point, he saw some devotee. He did it very nicely. And then he always chastised the devotees. You don't clean properly. You should look at this devotee. He is doing it nicely. And he pointed it out because he wanted the other devotees to follow the devotee who cleaned nicely. And then he asked him, please show them by your example how to clean the temple nicely. They don't know, but you can show them. You can teach them. So if you see someone doing something nicely, we can also tell this devotee, hey, you're doing very nicely your service. It's not about becoming proud. Of course, if it's the wrong attitude, then we take it and we take it for us. Wow, I'm doing it so nicely. I'm so good. Such a nice devotee. No, but actually then somebody tells you, hey, you cleaned very nicely these pots today. Really nice service. When Narahari comes and tells you, oh, the kitchen is very clean today, then you feel happy because she is happy. And then you should take this actually and show it to others. To also make Narahari happy, for example. I'm not a good example. I'm very bad in cleaning. I'm trying to getting better. So if somebody knows how to do it, please show me the way. Michael, yeah, he knows. He cleans very nicely. He had also from other temples. Yeah. And that's important, that we have association with this nice devotees, with the sadhus, with Srila Prabhupada. And sometimes we might think to help Srila Prabhupada in this mission, to preach Krishna consciousness, it's so difficult because we are not sadhus. We are not pure devotees. For us, it's really difficult to preach Krishna consciousness. Who are we? The mlechas from Bavaria forest, the mlechas from Germany. We're not even Shudras, we're not nothing. We ate meat our whole life. So much sinful activities. But on the other hand, we can see Srila Prabhupada, for him was not easy. For him was very difficult. Very, very difficult. He was a pure devotee, but he came here, he had 2 heart attacks on the ship before he reached America. Then he came to America finally. He transcribed his Bhagavad Gita, and then his typewriter, call it typewriter, Schreibmaschine. The typewriter was stolen with his scripts. So he had to start over again with the Bhagavad Gita. Then he was with this drug addict in the same room. He wanted to kill almost Srila Prabhupada, and so on. Endless leelas. And the first year Srila Prabhupada wanted to go back to his country. And he went several times to the how you say, haven? Bay, where the ships are, to go back to his country. But then he thought, no, I am here because of the order of my spiritual master. I stay. And Prabhupada stayed. And when Prabhupada asked his God brothers to send him some instrument, nobody helped him. When he asked for help, somebody to come, nobody came. So Prabhupada was all alone. Prabhupada had no instruments. He had no, all this boga we have now, prasadam, no temples, no harmonium, no devotees, no association. And we have everything. We have a temple, we have a nice harmonium, we have books, we have all the books Prabhupada translated. We have the best prasadam. In each temple you go, you get nice prasadam. In each temple you go, you see nice devotees. Wherever you go, you're always home. I traveled in so many places around the world, and I was always home. Of course, my real home is Simhachalam, and of course I'm saying this to get some mercy from you. But it's true, I went to so many places, and yeah, I felt most home here, but also in Mayapur, in South Africa, in Belgium, in Holland, no matter where you go, Switzerland, or different temples in Germany, you're always home. You go into the temple and you see Srila Prabhupada sitting here, you see nice devotees, you see Prabhupada disciples all around the world. Yeah. So Prabhupada gave us everything. For us it's very easy actually. Shri Shri Prahlad Nishingadev Bhagavan Ki Chai. Nishingadev confirmed it. Prahlad Maharaj is the real Sankirtan devotee. The deity was installed to protect the Sankirtan movement. Yeah, we should not take it for granted. We should not make ourselves an easy life in the temple. It's nice. Sleeping, eating, chanting, dancing, repeat. But we have something to do. We got a mission. What Srila Prabhupada gave us, we can't pay him back, but we can try. But now Nishingadev all of a sudden would jump off the altar and he became alive, and you will see Nishingadev. No, actually he's in a peaceful mood. And then you ask Nishingadev, Nishingadev, how can I please you? What can I do for you? What would Nishingadev say? Huh? Puris. Puris, he wants puris, maybe. Some idea? Selim. Yeah. To help me preach Krishna consciousness. Why? Because we have our free will. Krishna respects our free will. Sometimes I meet atheists on the street and then they tell me, I don't believe in God, I'm an atheist. It's all nonsense what you think, what you believe. And I say, you see, God is so kind, He still let you your free will that you don't believe in Him. Even though you can see Him everywhere. Everyone speaks about Him. The whole world believes in God, And then there's a few people like you who don't believe in God. This is God's greatness, that he respects your will. And then sometimes I argue with them, and it doesn't lead to anything. But sometimes they say, I'm an atheist, and I say, oh, wonderful, take the book anyways and give a donation. And then sometimes they just take the book. No explanation, nothing. Yeah, but this Krishna wants from us, that we help him bring the souls back to him. Because that he can't do himself. Of course he could, but he respects the free will. But the devotees, they don't care about the free will. The devotees, they still go out. And even though the people outside, they don't want to hear about Krishna, we still give them the books. We still give them prasadam and the holy name. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada wanted this from us. Before I joined here, before I came here in the temple, I remember I listened to some YouTube video, and then Srila Prabhupada told me, I mean not me, he said in the video, if you want to please me, distribute my books. And then I thought, wow, Krishna consciousness is so easy. Because everywhere it's written, you have to please the spiritual master in order to please Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master, tells us what to do. And in order to please him, distribute the books. So it's made so simple for us. We don't even need to be successful. We just try it, we just do it. And we can see our whole life changes. It's like magic is happening. When I was in South Africa, 2 years ago, my wife, she's from there. And then we did Prabhupada book marathon there. And there was no books distributed long time. Every year they did some marathon and did a few hundred books, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 books, the whole marathon. And during the year, there's only one devotee who goes out sometimes alone. And nobody is distributing books there. And when I came there, I went out a little bit. And then some devotees got inspired. They also went out. And then so it happened that we had a book marathon. And our goal was to distribute 3,000 books. And it was like quite a big gap from 500,000 books to 3,000 books. And nobody of them was experienced, nothing. But we tried. And then we started. And the first 2 weeks, it was very bad. We had like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 books first 2 weeks or less. And the third week, it became a little bit better. But then we had 3 weeks already passed and 1 week left. And we had, I think, 1,400. We had less than half. No, we had 1,700. It was more than half. But we still had 1,300 to cover in 1 week. And it was a thing was impossible to do. And then His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Maharaj was there. And he gave a glass. And he said, I'm so pleased with all of you. You're trying so hard. And then he said, you know what? You're all empowered to do miracles. He said, some magic will happen, I'm sure. This marathon is successful. And we had this board, and we write this course there, and we really tried to achieve these 3,000 books. And then Maharaj, when he said this, we should meditate about we are empowered to do miracles, because Srila Prabhupada wants us to distribute these books. And in this instruction already is the empowerment. And then we wanted to print shirts with the slogan, empowered to do miracles. I will still do this. It's a nice shirt. Empowered to do miracles. And then we went out, and most of the devotees, they distributed like 1 or 5 books a day. They really struggled, like the whole marathon. And they couldn't go out so many times, so long, because they had to do service in the temple. So I was the only one actually free. And then in the last week, I remember the first day, all of a sudden, after this lecture, one of these devotees did 70 books, another did 50 books, another 10, 20. And all of a sudden, we got a few books sponsored, but we didn't give them for free. We asked still for donations. But all of a sudden, all of them did a lot of books. And then when the sponsored books were already finished, they still continued doing a lot of books. Maybe not that many anymore, but still 10, 20, 30. And by the end of the week, we hit 3,200 books. So we hit the 3,000 mark even. And nobody could believe it. We were all completely ecstatic. The whole temple changed. The Sunday feasts, from 5 people in the temple for the lecture, maybe 2 for the kirtan, 5 for the lecture, then 100 came for prasadam. Gaurarati maybe about 20, 30, and then prasadam came, and then 100 people were all of a sudden, every Sunday. But I remember after the marathon, it was like everyone was there, everyone was blissed out, everyone was dancing, chanting, people were crying in ecstasy. It was really nice. And you could see, you could feel the whole energy changing. And not only that, even one thing more happened. There was 2 years no rain in Cape Town. It was a drought. So when we go to toilet, small toilet, we couldn't flush. We had to wait until a few times, and then we could flush the toilet. Or we could only use a little bit water. And yeah, it's like where you have to go to a well somewhere and you fill your own water. And because there was water shortage and water was very expensive, so we had to save the water. And he said 2-3 years was this drought, like only sun, no rain, and people were really suffering from this. And in this time, when we distributed so many books, it started to rain again. And it says in Bhagavad Gita that when the demigods are pleased, rain will come. And of course, the Sankirtan Yagya is the ultimate Yagya, what pleases the Lord, what pleases all the demigods, all the brahmanas. And one senior devotee there, he was sure it is because we did so many books. Krishna was pleased, and then rain came again. Indra had to bring us some rain. So it's very powerful. Or yesterday we went short for 1 hour on Harinam. We did nice Harinam. I was very impressed. Like, you're going to so much difficulties right now. You just leave your countries, middle of the war, and then you go out on the street and you chant and you dance and you have fun. It's very impressive. I was really moved. And we could do some books. Bhaktadeen for the first time, he did 4 books. Haribol! And then we came back and you could feel the energy in the temple was vibrating. Nishingadev was so present. The Yagya, the Kirtans, the devotees chanting, and it was amazing. It was really transforming experience. Like the Transformers, transforming from cars to robots. You know these Transformers? The devotees also transform from lechers to Vaishnavas. Cool. We got also superpowers. It's magic. Yeah. So it's important. A moment of a devotees association, pure devotees association, can transform your whole life. And we had so many lifetimes. In a Buddhist scripture called the Lotus Sutra, it is described that if we will count the bodies we had in a human form of life, only the human form of life, it would cover the sun. So if you would stack your bodies, then the sun would not shine. So many lifetimes in a human form of life. And if you only count the male form of life, it said the semen you lost in a male form, it would cover the whole ocean. I don't know which ocean, but anyways, the ocean is the ocean. So many lifetimes we lost semen as a man, it says in this book. So just to give an hint, how many times it says there's the Nitya Siddhas, the eternal liberated souls, and the Nitya Baddhas, the eternal conditioned souls. And we are eternal conditioned because it's time immemorial. We don't know how long it was till we appeared in this material world. Maybe many lifetimes of Lord Brahma. Who knows? And Brahma, he lived so many years. Unbelievable. And now we got this human form of life. So we should really be conscious. Prabhupada writes here something, wait. But attachment for material thing is called material consciousness. And attachment for Krishna or his devotee is called Krishna consciousness. Yeah, I like this point. So to be attached to the devotees, Prabhupada says, that's Krishna consciousness. Wow. So we should make some friends. So more or less it's even good to be attached at one point to a family if they're devotees. To see the Vaishnavas with tilak, with devotees. No dhoti, no devotee. No, it's nice to see the Vaishnavas. Or some people yesterday gave us lots of donations. One gave 20, one gave 5. Many said, Hare Krishna. Where are you guys so long? We don't see you anymore. Yeah, the people know us. Why? If we would run around in normal clothes and sing a little bit Hare Krishna, they probably think we are some gypsies. Sometimes they think we are gypsies anyways. But if we appear as Vaishnavas, nicely dressed, nicely singing, dancing, having a nice mood, nice attitude, people will recognize, they remember us. Hey, That's the devotees. And here in the temple, Prabhupada says, attachment to devotees. So make some friends. If you can't make friends, get married. But don't be alone. Be attached to the devotees. Bring them in your heart. Remember them. Your Guru Maharaj, especially the pure devotees, Sri Prabhupada. Be attached. Attached to Krishna. And same time detached from the material world. And we can't say somebody's advanced because he's crying in kirtan, his hair standing on end, he's rolling on the ground, he gives the best lectures, he distributes hundreds of books every day. Whatever he's doing, he's the best in everything. But this is not a sign of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, to see an advanced devotee means that he has no attraction for this material world. He's completely attached to Krishna. He has no desire anymore to enjoy here any longer. That's a sign of a pure devotee. And just when I talk, Queen Khunti came in my mind, because she prayed to cut the knots, to her family. Even though her family are devotees, but she still prayed because she knew this attachment to her family members will keep her in this material world. And she even prayed for calamities. She prayed to Krishna, please let me suffer again and again. Let these calamities happen again and again. Because when these calamities happen, then I can remember you. And I only want to remember you birth after birth. And if you know who is Queen Khunti, and if you don't know, I will tell you now. Queen Khunti, she even got a whole chapter in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the first canto, 8th chapter, there's the prayers of Queen Khunti. And we even compile a book about the prayers of Queen Khunti. And I can highly recommend to study these prayers. It's very amazing. Because Queen Khunti, she prayed for calamities. She prayed for more suffering. But if you know the life of Queen Khunti, it's really intense. When she was young, she got this spoon from Durvasa Muni to call any demigod with a mantra. And then she tried this mantra, and then Surya appeared. And then Surya, the demigod, said, yeah, what do you want from me? I'm here now. I have to give you some benediction. And she didn't want anything. She said, no, I just want to try out the mantra. He said, no, this is not the way it works. I came now, I appeared, so I have to give you a son. So he gave her a son, but she was very young, and she was in a royal lineage. So she just can't go home now and is pregnant all of a sudden, or has a child. And the child birth was very quick. Somehow it was like a heavenly intervention. And then she gave this child away. Kana, the first thing. Then she was married to Pandu later. And Pandu died very early. So she had no husband. She had to raise her children. Then later her children, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, and Bhima. And she took care of the children of Madhvi, Nakula, and Sahadev. And when Pandu died, Madhvi, she went on the fire to go with King Pandu. It's the sati rite. Actually, Kunti wanted to go and join him in the afterlife, but Madhvi said, no, please, you stay and take care of the children. So she lost Pandu, she lost Madhvi. Then later the children of Kunti, they had the whole kingdom. But the envious sons of Dhritarashtra, the Kurus, led by Duryodhana, he tricked Yudhishthira in a gambling match, and then Yudhishthira lost the whole kingdom. Draupadi, the wife, got insulted. He wanted to take her robes, her sari away in front of everyone. Yudhishthira lost the whole kingdom. He had to go to the forest. Then before that, long before, they tried to kill Bhima. They tried to kill the Pandavas in the house of Leg, and so on. It's unlimited pain she suffered. Then later, she revealed Kana that she was the mother, and she asked him, please don't fight against my children. Please, don't fight, don't do this. And Kana said, no, I don't want to know about you. You rejected me when I was a baby. I don't want to know anything about you. Must be painful for a mother. And she loved her son. Yeah. And then later, even in the Battle of Kurukshetra, everyone died. And then on top of it, Ashwadam killed the grandsons of Kunti. He wanted to kill the Pandavas, and instead he killed the children of the Pandavas. So much loss, so much pain. Just for a moment, if you be a mother, experience this pain, what she experienced, if you think about it. Yeah. But she still prayed to Krishna. Let these calamities happen again and again. Why? Because then I can remember you. And that's the sign of a pure devotee. He doesn't care about material circumstances. The only thing he cares is about Krishna. On the other hand also, Krishna maybe puts us in so many difficulties. Maybe he takes relatives away, maybe he burns our house, maybe he takes all our money away, maybe he, I don't know, puts so many blocks in our spiritual path that we want to turn away, we're going a different direction, we want to leave Krishna consciousness even. But maybe Krishna is doing this only to bring us closer to him. Krishna is not interested for us to enjoy this material world. Krishna wants us to become a pure devotee, to go back to Goloka Vrindavan. That's his only desire. And to take as many as possible. So whatever happens to us, it's all good. If we follow what Prabhupada gave us, if we chant Hare Krishna, if we follow the principles, if we gave all our heart in our determination and eagerness to become a devotee, to serve the devotees, then everything what happens to us, it's all good. It needs to happen that we get attracted to Krishna and get detached from Maya. So that's why we should follow the sadhus, our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, and all devotees who are following the acharyas, all the way up to Lord Brahma. Yes, I can't see the time actually. I think it's 10 to 9. 48. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. Maybe there's any questions, comments, reflections. Kishori Kund Mataji. She can speak, I can translate then.
Was Krishna alles arrangieren kann, es ist nichts unmöglich. Und wie du schon sagst, Königin Kunti hatte damals zu Krishna gebetet. Er möchte sie immer wieder mit Schwierigkeiten vertraut machen, weil das die Nähe zu ihm immer wieder herstellt. Und ich habe auch so viele Erfahrungen gemacht und das ist grandios. Also es gibt nichts, was intensiver das Gefühl ansprechen kann, als Krishnas Arrangierung, egal ob so oder so. Ja, ob zum
Kann ich das kurz übersetzen? Kann ich das kurz übersetzen, dass die verstehen?
Ja.
Okay. Yeah, she said it's amazing how, I paraphrase it, how Krishna arranges all these circumstances. She can agree with that. That he brings us closer to him. So to say.
Ja, im Prinzip, ich will jetzt auch nicht ins Detail gehen, aber es waren schon unwahrscheinlich schöne Erlebnisse.
She doesn't want to go in detail now, but she had lots of nice experiences, like heavy experiences, but brought her closer to Krishna. Thank you. Danke.
Das war's.
Haribol. Okay. Kanada Srimad Bhagavatam ki chai. Srila Prabhupada ki chai. Gauda Bhakta ki chai.
Mm-hmm.